Hey, what's going on, APUSHers? We got video 24, still with period 4. This is on immigration and Native Americans in the early 19th century. Before we begin, you know what time it is. Got to give a shout out to Mr. Burgraff's class in Seattle, Washington. Best of luck. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support. All right, so let's start off talking about immigration in the early 19th century. Well, from 1830s to 1840s, we're really going to see one group focus on immigrating to the United States. What group is that? Come on, you know this. Think back to world history. God, look at you little APUSH genius. It is the Irish. Very good. So we have a large number of immigrants from Europe. We have Germany due to political instability, but the largest group is going to be Ireland due to the potato famine. You're going to have millions of people leaving Ireland to come to places such as the United States. So where did these two groups settle? Well, the Irish are going to settle in cities, places like Boston and New York City. Think of the Boston Celtics basketball team, heavily populated Irish city. And the Germans are going to settle on the frontier. That's the places out in the Midwest where civilization meets wilderness. And Americans are going to move in large numbers west of the Appalachian Mountains, and they're going to develop new communities on the Ohio River and Mississippi rivers. So we'll see Americans expanding out west, due in large part to open land from Native Americans, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Now, in Cincinnati in particular, my favorite place on this planet, on the Ohio River, that is going to become a prosperous city. It will be nicknamed Porkopolis because of the amount of pork that they produce. And you're going to really see a lot of German immigrants settle there, so much so that there's a place in Cincinnati called the Over the Rhine district, going back to the number of Germans that settled there. St. Louis on the Mississippi River will also develop as a prosperous city with Americans moving out west. Okay, with Native Americans, as frontier settlers moved west, conflicts with natives emerged over land. This is a continuing trend throughout American history. There will be conflicts over land. In 1832, we have the Black Hawk War, in which natives will cross the Mississippi River into Illinois, and the U.S. will attack natives, convinced that they were hostile. So the U.S. will respond to this crossing over into Illinois with an attack out of fear that the natives were hostile. Black Hawk and his followers were defeated, and you have people like Abraham Lincoln, Jefferson Davis, and Zachary Taylor. They served in this conflict, although not all of them saw battle. And we'll talk about these three people in the next unit. They are very important figures in American history. And this helped encourage many Americans to move natives west of the Mississippi. So there's this trend that Americans will want natives to move west of the Mississippi beyond the American borders in the 1830s. So let's talk about the Indian Removal Act. Some background info. Georgia is going to pass a law that required the Cherokee Nation to move west of the Mississippi River. The Cherokee are going to sue, saying, hey, we can't be forced to move. So in the court case Cherokee Nation versus Georgia, the case was actually thrown out by the Supreme Court since natives were not considered citizens. So there was no result of this case. A short time later, a U.S. citizen by the name of Worcester is going to sue Georgia to keep the natives from moving. And the Supreme Court will rule that natives did not have to move. This is very important. They said natives did not have to move. This is where Andrew Jackson allegedly made the comment, John Marshall has made his decision, now let him enforce it. Remember, one of the jobs of the president is to enforce the law. So Andrew Jackson should have enforced the Supreme Court decision, but he did not. And this led directly to the Trail of Tears. In the winter of 1838, under President Martin Van Buren, thousands of natives were forced to move west of the Mississippi River by the U.S. Army. You have around 15,000 natives that were forced to leave Georgia, and unfortunately 4,000 of them died on this journey. They were being forced to move in the cold winter under snowy conditions and frigid temperatures, and about 1/4 of them died on this forced journey. All right, we'll end with a quick recap. Reasons for immigration from Europe. Know why the Germans came here. Know why the Irish came here. Definitely know where they settled. Cherokee Nation versus Georgia. What was the result of that? And the result of Worcester v. Georgia. And finally, the Trail of Tears. Be able to identify and explain the significance of that. All right, guys. Look forward to see you back here for video number 25. The second party system. Great potential as a topic when comparing with the first party system. Thanks for watching. Best of luck this year, and have a good day.